Mm. Hello and welcome to one and all. So in this class, we will move on to the next topic, unemployment. We finish with the income inequalities, poverty. The last one is the unemployment. So what are all the various types of unemployment, and what is the estimate of unemployment in India, and of course, what are the causes and consequences of unemployment in the country. So before we proceeding, we should know what is the meaning of unemployment. So unemployment in the sense that, see, there are two types of unemployment. One is the voluntary unemployment and another one is the involuntary unemployment. So voluntary unemployment is something like a person doesn't want to work, maybe is not satisfied with the type of work, maybe is not satisfied with the wages that is being offered, so he wants to wait for a better wages, so he voluntary himself, he doesn't want to work. So that is, normally we are not concerned about those kinds of unemployment. There are several people who might not to want, they want to take a break for some time. Okay, so they don't want to work for a certain period of time, they want to travel, they want to take rest, or they are not satisfied with the wages that are being offered, so they will want to wait for a better opportunity. So that kind of unemployment is voluntary, but in economically, like, we are not bothered with the voluntary unemployment prevailing in a country. What we are bothered about is only the what more problematic is only that something called as involuntary unemployment. So involuntary unemployment is the sense of a person is willing to do at whatever the wages that are offered to him, whatever the prevailing wage rate in the country. At that wage rate, he is willing to do the job. But then, in spite of that, he is not getting the job. So that kind of unemployment is known as the involuntary unemployment. So economically, we are mostly concerned with the involuntary unemployment, not with the voluntary unemployment. So put the meaning is a laborer does not obtain employment opportunity even if he is he or she is willing to work on existing wage rate. So whatever the wage rate that is offered, a person is willing to work, but still it's not getting the job. So that is, this is what is known as involuntary unemployment. So that involuntary unemployment is called as the, mostly we refer unemployment in the context of involuntary unemployment. Okay, and the nature of unemployment differs from developed countries and developing countries. So the nature of unemployment between developed and developing countries. Of course, even in developed countries also, this involuntary unemployment prevails. But then the reason that is prevailing in developed countries is, developed countries are much different than what it is causing in the developing countries. See, the main reason in developed countries is there is something called as the lack of effective demand. So sudden, because it is like most of the developed countries, they are the capitalistic countries. So if the aggregate demand in the country is lesser than the aggregate supply. So if the demand is basically, if the demand is less, then the production process will reduce, isn't it? If the production process reduces, then automatically there will be unemployment in the country. So this was pointed out by Lord Keynes, and he mentioned in his book General Theory of Income and Employment. So he suggested the government should interfere so that the effective demand in the country will increase. If the effective demand, because if one more sector comes in and starts spending, the effective demand in the country will increase. If the effective demand in the country increases, the production process will increase, and automatically that unemployment problem will be solved. So this is the kind of unemployment that is mostly prevailing in the developed countries, as mentioned by Lord J.M. Keynes. So this doesn't pose that much of a problem, isn't it? So only thing is, if whenever there is a shortfall in demand, aggregate demand, one more sector should interfere and push up the demand so that that unemployment problem will be solved. But whereas in case of developing countries, it is more serious. I mean, it cannot be solved. It is not because of lack of effective demand. It has got so many reasons in developing countries. So due to many reasons, we all know that we have the problem of overpopulation, not having the proper education, not having the proper skills, isn't it? So all these are causing the unemployment in the developing countries. So like overpopulation, improper education and skill, etc. So many factors are operating in the developing countries. So the nature of unemployment differs from developed countries from that of the developing countries. Okay. Now let us check out what are all the various types of unemployment. Some type of unemployment prevails in the developed countries. Some types of unemployment prevails in the developing countries. So the various types of unemployment. So the first type of unemployment is something called as the structural unemployment. So the name itself says structural unemployment is because of the nature or the economic structure of a particular country. Okay, so first let me write it. So this is due to the something called as the economic structure of a country. For example, India, we are having the problem of structural unemployment. So what are the features, characteristic? One of the main characteristic feature of India, we are having the overpopulation, isn't it? So what happens when there is a rise in population? The rise in, if there is a rise in population, this will lead to rise in the supply of labor force, isn't it? If the population keeps on increasing, the supply of labor force will also keep on increasing. So more and more people will be seeking for jobs. But the problem is they are not having the proper skills. They are having only the very appropriate skills, because lack of education and proper skills and all, the supply of labor force will increase, but with not, or let me put it out, but without any appropriate skills. They might be having some skills or they might not be having any skill at all. So whatever there's a mismatched skill, you can say. According to the demands of the industries, these labor force are not having that kind of skill. So without any appropriate skills. But what this is, so the supply of labor force is more. So what is happening? But the demand for labor, so if there is a demand for labor, then there should be industrial development should be happening in the country, isn't it? So how the industrial development will happen? The demand for labor is less because due to lack of industrial development. So in order to develop the industries, the country needs capital, isn't it? So if the capital formation in the country is, there are two reasons. One is either due to lack of capital, the industries are not developing, or whatever the skills that are required for the industries, the labor force are not having that kind of skills, or the laborers, even if they are having the skills, they are not willing to move from one place to another place. So these are all associated with the if the country is in the stages of economic development, all these will happen. So which is due to lack of capital. So finally, what is happening? The demand for labor is lesser than the supply of labor. So mostly Indian unemployment is structural in nature. Okay, so let me put it in other way. See, for example, what is happening here? So on the one hand, we have the rate of growth of population. So population keeps on increasing, which is more than the rate of industrial development in the country. Okay. Then, so this increase in the rate of growth of population directly results in the rise in labor force, either with or without the appropriate skills. So skilled labor also will not be able to find sometime because the industries are not developing that much. So this results in supply of labor. So whereas in this side, what is happening? The industrial development is low due to relative capital formation is low. Low capital formation. And also laborers, as I mentioned, laborers might not be having the required skills, mismatched skills, we will say. So the laborers, what the type of skill the industry expects, uh, that kind of skill is not available in the present labor force. So the laborers do not see, for example, now everybody is supposed to have that uh, digital knowledge, isn't it? Everything is most of the things are happening online. So that so this is the kind of skill most of the employers are expecting their labor force to possess. But if the labor force are not having that skill, so then automatically there's a mismatch skill. The company will not hire the labor force, isn't it? So they possess the required skills. So automatically what is happening here? The demand for labor. What is happening? The demand for labor, the supply of labor is more than the demand for labor. So automatically that results in unemployment. So this type of unemployment is called as the structural unemployment, which is very much prevalent in our country. Okay, so this is the first type of unemployment. Then the second type of unemployment is underemployment. So underemployment is not using the efficiency of labor force up to the maximum. Either the industries are not developed, they are not appointing the labor force at all. That is one thing. Or even if the industries are hiring the labor force, they are not able to provide them the full-time opportunity, maybe only for a part-time. Instead of from a morning 9 to 5, they are having only for up to 9 to 1. So because that much amount of jobs or work is not there, so they cannot expand their business because of lack of capital. So they are not the efficiency, even though the laborers are efficient, their efficiency is not utilized completely. So if the efficiency is not utilized completely, their contribution to production will also be less. So that is underemployment. So put it in words. If the efficiency of laborers are not fully utilized, then it is known as underemployment. You take, for example, in a college, if the strength is full, if there are sections are full for economics, but you take the example. So many, for 5, 6, or 7 or 8 sections are there, then the economics lecturer will be appointed from morning to evening. But then if the students are not willing to study, or if there's economics or some other course, or if the strength of the college is not that much, so only instead of 8 sections, there are only 3 sections. So automatically the lecturer will have job only for part time, isn't it? So that is underemployment. Okay. So then it is known as underemployment. So what is happening as a result? Their, even though they are efficient, their contribution to production is not complete. So they are contributing only partly to production. So is also only up to a limited level. So this is underemployed, not fully employed, it is underemployed. Okay. Then the third type of unemployment is disguised unemployment. So disguised unemployment. So this is a piece of land. In that piece of agricultural land, so comfortably 4 laborers are 1, 2, 3, 4. So if the 4 laborers are employed, sufficient for this piece of land, they can, each and every labor they will work and they will contribute to production. But instead of 4 laborers, the same land is having extra laborers. For example, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So instead of 4 laborers, now what is happening? If even if you remove this fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, so the production is not going to fall. So these 4 labor, because they don't have in this, only in this part, 1 laborer is enough. But why do we need the fifth laborer here? We don't need the fifth laborer. So here the second laborer is enough. Why do we need the seventh laborer here? We don't need. So like that, if instead of 1 laborer, 2 laborers are employed in this area, so like that the entire land is occupied by extra amount of laborers. So even if you remove these extra laborers, this fifth laborer, seventh laborer, eighth laborer, sixth, so this, all this, if you remove this extra laborers also, the production is not going to fall. So they disguisedly unemployed. Disguise means hidden. They are unemployed. This fifth laborer is not contributing anything to production. Is so that is hidden from reality. So that's why we call it as a disguised unemployment. So this is like, because why this laborer is employed here? Because he is not finding job anywhere else, and agriculture he can accommodate. So that is the disguised unemployment. So in other words, to put it in words, when more people are employed than actually necessary, then we say, then it is the disguised unemployment. So then it is known as disguised unemployment. Okay. So what happens if these extra labor force are removed also? The production will not suffer. Or removed, from the work, the production will not decrease. Why it will not decrease? Because they are not contributing anything to production, or what you say as their marginal productivity is 0. That means the additional productivity by these additional laborers is 0. So the production is not going to suffer. So mostly this type of unemployment is prevailing in most of the underdeveloped countries like India, Pakistan, to the extent of 20 to 25% in agricultural area. It is found to be disguisedly unemployed labor force. Okay, so this type of unemployment mostly prevails in the agricultural sector in most of the underdeveloped countries or developing countries. So a survey made by the United Nations have found out that nearly 20 to 25% of the labor force in India, Pakistan and all are disguisedly unemployed. India and Pakistan, etc. Okay. So this is the third type of unemployment. Okay. The next one is a just opposite to disguised unemployment. This is open unemployment. So disguised unemployment, it is hidden. Who is employed, who is not employed properly, we are not able to find. This open unemployment, we know this person is unemployed. A person, so what do you, how do you identify a person is properly skilled, a person is properly educated, still he is not able to find the job. A person without any disability, so he can work properly, he is properly qualified, skilled, everything is there, but still he remains unemployed. Then you say that person is not going for work. So you say that is an open unemployment. Or sometimes the rural people, they will migrate to urban areas to work in the fields, in the factories, in the, sorry, not in the fields, in the factories or wherever in the urban areas. So that also, then also they are not, even after migration also, they are not able to find the job. So this kind of unemployment we can easily identify. It is very clear. So that kind of unemployment is known as open unemployment. So this is the involuntary unemployment of mostly the educated people and also of the unskilled labor force migrating from, why they are migrating? In search of job only, isn't it? And even after coming to the urban areas also, if they remain jobless, then that shows that they are not employed. That is an open unemployment to urban areas due to lack of job opportunities. So that is what is known as open unemployment. So this is just opposite to disguised unemployment. So the next one, specifically the educated unemployment. So even if a person is having the proper qualifications, skills, everything, still is not able to find a job. So this kind of unemployment is mostly rising in our country now because of the developmental process. The educational attainment has increased in a country, isn't it? See, we have once upon a time it was only 18% literacy rate. Now the literacy rate has become 74%. So have we created that much amount of job opportunities? So we are not able to create. So when a person, even with the required qualification and skills, is unable to, so everything, again, same reason, that much amount of industrial development is not happening in our country. So everything, and again, same reason, lack of capital. So that's why even the educated person is also not able to find the job. It is known as educated unemployment. And even that educated unemployed person, educated person, he has to find the proper skills. So if he's not finding the proper skills, then again, maybe he is having the different kind of skills which is not required by the country currently. That leads to structural unemployment, isn't it? So presently, this has become more common in India. Okay. Then the next type of unemployment is frictional unemployment. So frictional unemployment, it is what you say, there's something called as imperfections in the labor market. So imperfections in the labor market, if the demand for labor force is equal to supply of labor force, then that is a perfect market. But can it happen in practically? So the demand for labor force, there are two reasons. Demand for labor force is not always equal to the supply of labor force. That is one thing. And another reason is that a person might be having the skills. See, a person in Hyderabad, he might be having the skills, but is, according to his skills, the job opportunities is available not in Hyderabad, but say, let us say it is available in Bangalore. So, but this person, this labor, he doesn't know. According to his skills, the job opportunities are available in Bangalore. So he doesn't know that. And the employer in Bangalore, he is not able to find a suitable candidate for his company in Bangalore, and he doesn't know, according to his requirement, the laborer is available in Hyderabad. So both the employer and the employee, they do not know that according to their requirement, the job opportunities are available elsewhere. So that's a frictional unemployment. So that's an imperfect ignorance of the employer and the employee. So that exists. That is what is called as the frictional unemployment. But only thing is, this is very, very temporary, because the person in Hyderabad, he will come to know that according to his requirement, one day or the other, he will come to know that he can get a job in Bangalore. So the employer also can find out that according to his requirement, the laborer is available in Hyderabad. So this is only a temporary situation. Okay. So this is due to imperfections in the labor market and exists during the, yeah, this is another reason. During the period of transfer of labor from one occupation to another. For example, suddenly you understand that a teacher, a lecturer doesn't want to continue teaching anymore. He or she wants to switch over the job, wants to be employed in a bank. So suddenly that lecturer start looking for opportunities to work in a bank. So till he or she gets the job in a bank, that lecturer or that teacher will be unemployed for a certain period of time. So like that, people keep seeking different opportunities where there are better income earning possibilities. So till they find a suitable job, they will remain unemployed for a certain period of time. So during the period of that transit, that unemployment is also known as frictional unemployment, occupation to another. But all these kinds of unemployment, it's very, very temporary in nature, but it is only temporary in nature. Okay. Then the seventh This is also very common in the agricultural sector, or you can have this kind of unemployment in travel agencies. So only for a certain period of time, the farmers they're having the job. The remaining period of time, off season, they don't have any job. And the travel agencies and only during the some mostly in the summer season, they have lot of demand. But then the remaining time, there is no demand for them. So that kind of only for a certain period in a year, throughout the year they're not having the job. Only for a certain seasons, only for certain months in a year they're having the job. That is the remaining season they are unemployed. So if the laborer gets employment only during certain seasons and not throughout the year. So why this is? Because due to the demand might not be there for the commodity due to change in demand based on seasonal variations. People prefer to go to all the cool places only during summer, isn't it? So seasonal variations, then it is known as seasonal unemployment. Okay, so you can give example. Example, farmers or laborers in agricultural sector, they have only during a certain season. Agricultural sector, or you can mention about the travel agencies. So they all can give any examples of your own. So these are all some of the examples of seasonal unemployment. Okay, so still there are some more, three more types of unemployment. It's there, which has to be explained, which I will do it in my next class. I mean, hope up to here the concept is very clear for everyone. See, these are all important for 2 marks as well as for the 5 marks answers also. So that's why I don't want to rush up. So go through the concept, each and every different type of unemployment. Okay. So if you find this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you have any doubts, please mention it in the comment box. Your suggestions are also most welcome. Okay. So until my next class, next video, take care. Bye bye.